Hello everyone. Today I am jumping on to talk about some thoughts that I have on ideal clients. In my work drafting agreements of all types, including terms and conditions for businesses, especially coaches and consultants, the notion of the ideal client is really important. And when I am doing the work of deciding what it is that needs to go into a business owner's terms and conditions, what is really important is the question about that comes up, which is who's your ideal client, who are you speaking to? So a couple of things. The first thing that it's really an indicator of how developed a business is, or at that stage, or in their business owner is in their current business, when they answer the question of who's your ideal client. Sometimes people are really specific. Sometimes they're very demographics focused. So the answer is their age between 35 and 55. They live in a certain area. They have a certain income, etc. Other people in their description of ideal clients are problem focused. So my ideal client is someone who needs X, Y, and Z, or who struggles with this, that, or the other. The thing is, though, it's not always a given that your ideal client is already out there. I struggle with the notion of ideal client because I believe, and my work has shown this time and again, that you need to educate people about how to be your ideal client. And I have often in my work, when drafting for clients, have spent more time with them than anything else in talking about who they're serving and why. And then I reflect the question back to them as to, well, yes, I know that's the problem you're solving. Yes, I know that person is you see them as your ideal client. Yes, I know they fall into the demographics that you've identified. But what about their behavior towards you as a business? Why is not that something that hasn't come up in your description of your ideal client? So the ideal client really is a myth. You know, the word ideal gives it, by its very nature, is an ideal. An ideal is something that you have not yet reached. So probably better way to refer to the notion of your client in your business is to talk about your client as who they really are. And who they really are is that they probably don't even know a lot about your business in terms of how you operate. So they know what you do. They know what service you provide. They know your beautiful marketing. They know your brand colors. They know your brand personality. They've seen your videos. They've read the testimonials, but they don't really know how your business operates, how you do business. And that is really where the whole notion of the ideal client kind of falls apart for me. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for joining me today. So I want to go back now to kind of dismantle this pressure that we put on ourselves of identifying the ideal client. I really believe, you know, anyone can be your client. It just depends on whether you want to work with them. I could work with any number of people I wanted to. It's my decision, though, to limit my services to a certain type of person. But at the same time, a lot of time and effort goes in through my engagement with them, with all aspects of my business, including my terms and conditions, to educate them how I would like them to be my ideal client. And that's really like the message that I want to bring to you today, is that in the conversation about ideal client, and you know what, it comes up more often than you realize. My question to people when I meet them and we're talking about their business: what do you do? You know, how are you? What do you do? Tell me about your work. Who's your ideal client? We're kind of like being programmed to ask that question. We are programmed by coaches. We are programmed by social media managers. We are programmed by blogs on Canva, on Instagram, like how to be the best social media person for your business, and all they talk about is who's your ideal client, this is how you talk to them, blah 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 blah. But that's all well and fine when it's to do with your marketing. But when they become your client, how do you keep them? How do you maintain them? Okay, the way you do that is by educating them about how your business is operating in at the back end, and how it is that you want to progress with them. And that is where your documentation about your business, your client agreements, your business terms and conditions, any kind of interaction that is represented in a written document should reflect what it is that is actually happening in your business. And that must be communicated to the client so that they're not operating in a no man's in a guess line knowledge. So you're not leaving them to guess anything. You're educating them on how to present themselves to you as the best client that they could possibly be. I often wonder though, you know, whether people actually think that far ahead. And the reason I've done this live is quite often when a dispute comes before me, or when a client comes to me and they're unhappy because an engagement has run into problems, my question then is, well, what did you do to educate them about how you would like to do business before you began doing business with them? You know, people are not oracles, they're not mind readers. Clients are not mind readers. Most people make great clients, but they're generally asleep in terms of what it is they know about your business and how you operate. And it's your job, apart from, you know, marketing your services, it's your job to wake them up and teach them about how you operate as a business and how to be your ideal client. Quite often in the entrepreneurial journey, I talk to people who say, I've just started this business. I don't know if there's anybody out there who's going to buy my service. And, you know, again, it comes back to education. Before you actually set up your business, you educate your market, you wake them up. And while you're doing that, thinking about the whole time about how you're going to operate as a business, what will work for you, what would you like your clients to do for you, with you, around you, and how is it that you want to have a seamless, easy, and graceful operation when it comes to you working with your clients in your business. So again, you know, I will talk more about this notion of ideal client and educating your clients in weeks to come. I try to do one topic a week, and sometimes the topics develop into something quite different. Today is one of those. I have had a number of conversations this week about ideal clients and how it is that you can create them, really. And that's what you need. That's what you need to do, is to create your ideal clients. It's like, you know, your children don't become the perfect adults. They don't grow up to be amazing. Well, they become amazing because it's inherently in them, but it's how you raise them and how you've educated them. And I'm not talking about the school system. It's how you've modeled yourself. Your clients are no different. You really need to consider that they also need to be educated as to how to interact with you. And it's a very important tool. It's a small price to pay. It's a small tool to develop for a very big gain in terms of being able to keep clients and to have a happy working relationship and ensure that your business runs smoothly and that you attract more of the people that you would like to work with. So in comments later, when I finish this live, I will put in a link to a checklist for your client agreement. There is a question in there, two questions actually. One is about your client, your ideal client, and 2, the second one is about your niche. What I'd like you to think about is how are you educating these people apart from your marketing? And then I hope you understand that the real education comes from things like your business agreements and terms and conditions, about the reality of how your business is operating in the commercial sense. So have a good day, have a great weekend, and I shall think of something to talk about next week. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, hello, Krishna. Thank you for joining. And I'll see you all. I have no idea when, but next week sometime. Thank you, and bye for now.